Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here today for our webinar of Coming to America, where we're really wanting to connect with you all as international students to help address any questions or concerns that you may have as you're prepping to make the big move. My name is Emily Lakemaker, and I'm the Associate Director of Recruitment and Student Life here at the Rollins School of Public Health. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Hannah Nickel, and several students, several of our international students that are currently in the program. I'm going to turn this over to them in just a moment, but a few logistics up here at the top. Number one, we are recording this, so if you need to go back and re-listen to anything or catch anything, you can certainly do that. We'll have this posted on the Admitted Student Portal as well as our YouTube page. Generally within 3 to 5 business days is what it takes us to get this up and running. So you can be sure to look for that there. Additionally, what we're going to do with this is we're going to run through the program, run through the PowerPoint presentation, but at any point as you have questions, type them into the question section. And you can see my cursor in the upper right-hand corner. From there, you should be able to see a box that says questions. You can type those in, and at the end of our PowerPoint, we'll go through and read each one of those aloud and get through as many as we can in the hour that we have. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Hannah, and she and our students are going to introduce themselves and get started with the presentation.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am Hannah, the Assistant Director of International Student Affairs and ESL here at Rollins. You've already gotten a couple of emails from me, and I'm joined by a panel of students. I'll ask them to go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Hao Ken Song. I'm from China, and now I'm a second year biostatistics student. Nice to meet you all.
Hello everyone, my name is Nanado Padiadrako. I'm a second year health policy and management student, and I'm from Ghana.
Hi everyone, I'm Shreya Kothari this side. I'm a second year global health student concentrating in community health and development from India. And my email address is shreya.kothari, my first name last name at emory.edu. So if there's anything you want to get in touch with me personally, feel free to do that.
Thanks, Shreya. And we can provide email addresses to you afterwards as well if you didn't catch that. So we'll go ahead and dive into our webinar. The first thing I'd like to mention is Rollins International Orientation, or RIO. That's going to be August 9th through 11th. It's a mandatory orientation. It's useful because there will be speakers from various offices across campus. You'll get a welcome from Dean Curran. You'll get to meet other international students, start making friends, and hopefully it'll be a bit of fun as well. So if you can get as settled in as you can before international orientation, really plan to have a busy 3 days and then 4 days of rest before main orientation begins. Any thoughts on orientation? No? And we are just joined by one more student. Marete, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Marete. I'm from Austria. I study behavioral sciences and health education, BC in short, and I live near the university and I don't have a car. Maybe that's important to know.
Does anyone here have a car?
No, I have a bicycle.
A bicycle?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have, but now I have. I mean, my husband and I share a car.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
no cars, no bicycle, just shuttle.
Just shuttle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fairly common, I would say, for our international students. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we were told to have a friend with a car to navigate through town. Yeah.
Yes, so people with cars will be very popular.
For sure.
Great. So hopefully you've already seen the admitted student portal. A lot of your questions are likely answered here. There's information about Atlanta, about Rollins, our faculty services, and if you're admitted, you can log in. And there's a special section for international students. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. So a couple of offices that you should know about before you come. If you've got questions about your visa or anything related to immigration status, that first office, ISSS, International Student and Scholar Services, will be your office. And Jennifer Knupp is your contact there. The Office of International Student Life on Emory's campus helps with fun stuff, also life stuff. They plan activities for international students from all over campus. If you've got housing or settling in types of questions, that's a good office to get in touch with, a good site to look at. And look for their activities throughout the year as a way to meet international students from other schools outside of Rollins.
I just wanted to add the OISL organized lunches every Friday from noon to 1, which were really helpful in meeting different international students of various colleges besides Rollins.
Yes, the International Coffee Hour, right?
Right.
Yes.
I'm still yet to go to that. I haven't been.
You should, and you get a lavish free meal.
A lavish meal,
Exactly.
she says. Wow. All right, let's check it out next year. Great. So most of you have already taken care of this fun stuff, your I-20s or DS 2019. If you haven't, please do so immediately. You don't want the stress of not having a visa on time. So Barbara in our office takes care of this, and a lot of you have probably already been working with and communicating with her. I can't emphasize enough, get on this today if you haven't already. So you probably already know this as well. Your F1 visa will permit you to pursue education in the U.S. Your J1 permits visitors participating in exchange programs. For your interview, you'll want to take your I-20 or your DS 2019 form and your CVIS receipt. So be prepared to answer questions about yourself. Just answer honestly and you should be fine. No need to be nervous. The questions will be asked in English. Any thoughts on this or experiences to share?
So I actually just had an interview this year because I used to be on an A1 visa, which is a diplomatic visa, but I just switched from my diplomatic visa to an F1 visa, which is the international student visa. And this is the first time that I've never had an interview for that, so it wasn't that complicated. They really ask you questions about yourself, where you're studying, why Emory, just basic questions like that. So make sure you are very knowledgeable about Emory. Emory is located in Atlanta, which is in Georgia, and reasons why you want to be in this program. So yeah, very basic questions. So just be prepared for that.
And also besides these questions, I was asked about my house address, where I'm going to stay. So I feel if you have an address, they learn that by heart.
Good suggestion. Great. Speaking of housing, you'll want to start looking for housing ahead of time as well. And this is probably something that all of you can speak to better than I can.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your housing?
Sure, I'll start with mine. So
Great.
my roommate and I looked at apartment complexes, and that's what you see listed on the PowerPoint. So Campus Crossing, Claremont Reserve. But the thing about these things is to get housing in the United States, you need to have like a solid credit background. I guess
Credit history.
Credit history,
Right.
yes. They do a credit history check, and because you're new in this country, you obviously don't have an established credit history. So what I did was I currently live in a house, and so I reached out to landlords, and then it was easier for me to secure a place to live as opposed to having to show that you could pay for at least a year's worth of housing, which most of these places aren't that affordable. It's like $600 a month if you're splitting, around $600 a month if you're splitting with someone. So that's 600 times 12. I can't do math, so
72.
yeah, exactly. $1,700 that you have to show you have ready for a year's worth of living. So I'll advise you to look out for other private housing. A lot of professors are renting out their houses, so you can definitely look into that.
So a lot of those that Nana mentioned can be found on the Emory off-campus housing website. The folks that are offering private arrangements, private listings, will often post on that. I also recommend that you look at Facebook groups for this. So, the Rollins pages, the International Student page, and also the class pages. If you're looking for a roommate, or a lot of times you'll see people posting that they've got a place but they're looking for roommates. The apartment complexes listed here on this slide tend to be fairly popular among our international students. Most are near campus and offer shuttles, are furnished and near supermarkets. I know I've heard some students say that they've used ProMove. Have any of you used ProMove? No? Okay.
I tried to, but I couldn't really navigate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Emory listings were more helpful for me.
I found the off-campus housing guide to be very useful.
That was very helpful.
I just wanted to add that I knew a friend who used to stay in Lindbergh, which is about 20 minutes from here, just to save on the rent. The regular rent is about, as Mana mentioned, about $600, ranging to $750. But she paid $400, and she used to commute by MARTA, which is the local metro and bus system over here, which is quite easy to navigate once you are accustomed to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I just want to add that you should look if the places are furnished or not. If you move into like a new apartment or new house, which is like totally unfurnished, and you have to get everything, that will add to your cost too. And especially if you don't have a car, it's sometimes difficult to get things from A to B. And also the apartment complexes, some are furnished, some are not furnished, and you pay for it if it's like already furnished. The other positive thing about apartment complexes, if you don't move in into a very new place, you don't have to think about how to get gas and electricity, because that's a little bit more complicated if you don't have a social security number here in the US, which you won't have at the beginning at least. So you have, for example, to pay maybe in advance gas or electricity to actually get a contract.
Great.
Also, say if you have an unfurnished house with lack of furniture and regular amenities, you can get in touch with the Facebook groups and other housing portals where a lot of people are selling their stuff, which you can get it for cheap, and also you can request them to deliver and say that you don't have a car.
There's also a surplus furniture storage for Emory students and staff. And I remember one student last year, Hannah from Vietnam, she furnished her entire apartment for $100 US, she said, through that.
It's extremely extremely affordable. On Mondays and Wednesdays, they have these sales where everything there, like all the furniture is like $5 each.
You have to tell me about it after the webinar.
Yeah, it's great. It's all the old furniture from like around offices from Emory and other locations that Emory owns that they don't need anymore, so they just sell it. And it's some really nice stuff. I actually went there to get ideas to furnish my apartment. So yeah, you can definitely check it out.
So if you just Google surplus furniture storage Emory, it'll be the first thing that pops.
So
right
you
up.
add them. They're actually a person. So you add them as a friend on Facebook, and then and then you can like view their inventory.
Okay.
But I'd also advise you to be careful, because one of my friends had a bed bug and termite issue after they got furniture from there. So just be careful about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. So a few other things to think about when you're looking at housing. Does your rent include utilities like gas, electric, Wi-Fi? Take a look at the lease. The lease is the agreement that you make with your landlord or your apartment complex. Read the details carefully and make sure that you understand what you're getting into. Often there's a security deposit that's about a month of rent, in my experience. Have you found that?
month.
For maybe first and last month? Okay. A month or 2 months of rent, and that will be returned after you move out if the place is in good condition. Think about transportation. How will you get to campus? Is it a bike, a shuttle, a car? Your move-in date, if you can, try to move in before August 9th, before international orientation. After that, life starts to get pretty busy for you. Think about laundry facilities. Laundry in the U.S., to do it away from home can be quite expensive and inconvenient. It's not like a lot of countries where there's just, laundry places everywhere. So something within the facility is very helpful. Do you all have access to laundry?
So I would suggest either you get a washer, and if
Mhm.
you're saving, you can just hang clothes inside under the fan, let them dry. If not, a lot of apartment complexes have laundry facilities where you can even pay like a few dollars every week and get your clothes cleaned.
Yeah.
I unfortunately don't have laundry facilities, so I go to the laundromat, and I'm lucky enough that I have enough clothes to last a month, so I don't have to do it as often.
Oh my goodness.
I go. So yeah, I do my laundry like once a month, but I have enough clothes. Trust me, I also have enough underwear. So yeah, it's the laundromat is actually really cheap because I end up paying $10 to $15 a month to like wash a lot of clothes. So it's not bad.
Exactly. This is a very good suggestion. Get a lot
Yeah.
of your spare undergarments.
If you're not going to have a place to do laundry.
Yeah.
Even if you do, you just get so busy in your routine lives that
Yeah.
you want to have them.
Right. Yeah.
Grad school is rough, so you
Make sure you have enough underwear.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I also wanted to add that, as Hannah said, get everything in place before the 9th of August, because after that you don't know how time flies and you'll be all, amidst assignments, amidst meeting new friends, things like that. So get everything settled before that, preferably.
Yes.
And all the fun events are all in.
Yes. Great. Another thing to think about is security, safety. Any thoughts on that?
Oh yeah. So don't get scared. I got mugged in 2014 when I came on gunpoint, but it was scary. But what I've learned out of this is always travel in groups. Do not even 2, 3 people. Don't do that. Make sure you're with 4, 5 people, especially after sunset, and always carry a pepper spray around you. That should help. And don't go to places isolated. Tell someone that you're going to this place.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've had a different experience. I did my undergrad in Philadelphia, so I think here is the safest place I've been to. But with that being said, you definitely true. With that being said, you definitely want to be careful and aware of your surroundings. So don't be on your phone all the time. Like make sure that you know where you're going. Make sure you can see. Like your head's not buried in your phone. But yeah.
Suggestions. Finding a roommate. If you want to live with other people, a lot of times it can save you some money to do so. You might look at the Class of 2019 Facebook page. There's also a roommate Facebook group, an international students Facebook group. There are student associations like the EMORY Chinese Student Union, which, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
CSU.
Yeah, CSU.
Now we are preparing for the mentor and mentee program, which is held every year for this. For the mentors, the CSUE program, we will give them some benefit to do so, and they will get the mentees next year student from the airport to their house or apartment and tell them something about Emory, something about Atlanta, where to buy some food, where to buy their furniture like this. So I think it's really convenient to program if you like so. But it's I'm sorry, but it's only for Chinese students.
And
Yeah.
Chinese students includes China, Taiwan, Hong Kong,
Yes.
Macau, right?
Yes. If you have a WeChat, everything will be okay.
And you have WeChat.
Yeah.
So
You
actually,
know that? WeChat?
Yeah.
yes.
My roommate is from China.
Oh, really? Wow.
And if you are Chinese, you have already received an email from me connecting you with the WeChat accounts of the president and the former president of the Chinese Student Union.
Yeah.
So if you add them on WeChat, they can add you to the group and you can become part of the mentorship
Mentor or
program.
mentee. Yeah.
Mentee program. Great.
Yeah.
And we'll also, for those of you who are not Chinese, I'm also in the process of coordinating an international buddy program. So this will be a new program this year where
Wow.
our second year students will be matched with first year students. So you'll have someone to be there as a buddy. You know, there's not an obligation that you're best friends, but at least someone that you can ask your a few questions as you're coming in, and just have someone who knows that they're designated to look out for you a little bit when you're first arriving. So
And just wanted to add that everyone here is super duper helpful. So if you have anything, you can just get in touch, contact people on Facebook just randomly, and you will get replies.
yeah, that's a great suggestion. Mm-hmm.
Don't hesitate. Yeah, be confident and do it.
Yes, there's very much a sense of community here that you feel free to tap into and become part of right away. Great. So packing your stuff, some things to pack. Clothes and shoes, outerwear, bedding, towels, your laptop, maybe some favorite foods from home that you may not be able to find in the States, although we do have access to a lot of food from around the world on Buford Highway and places, and places like that. Maybe a rain jacket. Right now Atlanta is hot and humid, but it'll be cooling down in a few months. So you will need a winter jacket at some point, but you can buy one here. If you don't have, a place to stay, you might think about something like a sheet and a towel for your first night until you find something. Your electronics might not be compatible, so bring an adapter plug that you can use right away. For food, think about maybe spices or favorite brands. You might want to ask current students from your country what they can't find here, if there are things that you know that you'll miss. Maybe bring photos of people that you love, things to make you feel at home. Money you're going to need right away, so bring cash or figure out how you'll access your bank account. You can usually find ATMs, or you will find ATMs at the airport, but it's a good idea to bring some US dollars just in case your card is blocked for some reason. Your documents, make sure you keep them in a safe place, so carry on, not in your checked luggage, and be sure that you leave copies of your passport or any other important documents with your family at home just in case anything gets lost.
Yeah, I have a few suggestions. Always keep your copy of your passport, important documents on your email. In case if you lose them, you have it right away on your phone. Have a copy of your passport size photographs. It's a little expensive over here, and coming you don't want to roam around and run around. Thirdly, I can't remember, I had something else, but I'll let the others go and I'll say it. Oh yeah, the adapter, the converter, that because your plug may not work to charge appliances here. The plugs are really expensive over. I got one for $20, which I felt was a waste. So if you can get a few of them from your home country, I'm sure it'll be cheaper there.
I brought with me like where you have like a few sockets. So I only have like one adapter with me, but then I can plug in a few things. And with the documents, like what I did, I printed everything out. I have it at my parents at home. I scanned everything, have it on Dropbox so I can like access it from everywhere. What is important? Emergency numbers from the university, like from the Office for International Students, like write them down and put them in your passport. If you have like problems getting into the country, they'll let you use the phone, but maybe they don't, like if you don't have like the number by hand, it's like difficult to obtain it maybe. So security, emergency numbers, write them down and put them in your passport. I have photocopies of my passport and immigration documents, like also just in case. What I wanted to say too was about driver license. Maybe you can get an international driver's license at home. You should look into that. I know in Austria I could get one for 1 year. The other thing is insurance. Are we going into insurance later? Or?
No, go ahead.
You can have the university's insurance, which is like nearly $4,000, I think, a year. I know I could get a way cheaper insurance in Austria, but I had to sign the contract for the insurance in Austria. So it's like a better traveler insurance. So look into that if it's maybe cheaper for you to get an insurance at home that covers you in the US and maybe opt out of the university's insurance.
That's a great suggestion. You are able to choose alternatives to the university insurance.
Yeah, so like I, for instance, not enrolled in the university's insurance. I decided to purchase my insurance from the marketplace, and the marketplace is just this online exchange where you can purchase, like you can look at different insurance providers and then pick the one that suits your budget and the one that suits your needs. So, but you also have to make sure that it meets the requirements of the university's insurance. But you can definitely find more affordable options on the exchange marketplace.
Great.
I want to add to what Marita said regarding driver's license. See from your country what it involves, because I know from India we could drive with our international driver's license along with a passport. Make sure you always have your passport until you have your SSN. So keep that in mind if you're driving. And also if an officer, just in case, because a lot of international students don't know this, in case if you're driving and an officer stops you, do not get out of the car. Don't do that. Sit in the car and just listen to what the officer has to say.
True.
Yeah, otherwise, because I've heard people, officers getting scared and pointing guns at them.
Yeah, because that can be seen as an act of aggression, and you don't want to be aggressive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So let's talk about getting from the Atlanta airport to your new home in Atlanta. You have a few options. There's Uber or Lyft that you probably will be using a lot in Atlanta if you do not have a car.
Really a lot.
Yeah, probably a lot. If it's your first time using Uber or Lyft, I've given my codes for free rides, so that should include the trip from the airport. Typically would be free for your first time. If it is your first time using one of these apps, just make sure that your credit card works. So I would go ahead and download the app, arrange your credit card, and make sure that everything is functioning well before you arrive in the U.S. and then request the ride after you arrive in the U.S. So if you use these codes, you can download the app, or you can use anyone's code and get a free first ride. If those apps don't work out for you, there are always taxis at the airport. Those are probably, more than double the cost of a Lyft or an Uber. Easily double the cost. But that is kind of a last resort alternative. You can also arrange a pickup from a volunteer. As you mentioned, CSUE, or looking at Facebook groups.
And what's to bear in mind, taxis don't take credit cards. You have to have cash.
You have to have cash. Yeah, so make sure before you leave that airport, try to have some cash on you.
Yeah. And
Just
one thing
sure.
I want to add is if you have 2 or more large suitcase, just take Uber XL rather than Uber X.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Since
good tip.
I'm from China, I take 2 really large suitcases and one small suitcase with me. And when I arrived here, my roommate takes the Uber XL from airport to our home.
Mhm.
So I think it's really a convenient way to take a XL rather than X.
Yeah.
There's no such place for big suitcase for Uber X.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uber XL extra large.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
And if you're moving in maybe with roommates, you can go with Marta to the city or like near where you stay, and maybe your roommate will pick you up at the Marta station. Just bear in mind that if you want to buy a ticket, they don't take off international credit cards. I had problems, so I had to pay for that cash too.
Cash. Yeah.
So basically have your credit card and cash ready.
Yeah,
Right.
have quite a little bit of cash, but because sometimes they just don't take international cards in some places.
Yeah. Good suggestion.
Yeah, so until you sign up with a bank here in the United States, you're probably going to be using cash. Or if you have, I think international Visa cards work. Oh,
Visa and
MasterCards,
MasterCard,
yes. So those ones should work.
It depends on
Really?
my MasterCard, my Visa and my MasterCard, for example, doesn't work with Marta.
Oh. Interesting. So, cash then.
Yeah.
Sometimes cash, mostly credit card is okay. Sometimes you need cash.
Have U.S. dollars. It's the takeaway. So back to transportation. There's the Cliff Shuttle. A lot of us bike. A lot of folks use, or some folks use MARTA or a car. And culture shock. You know, preparing for culture shock, just knowing that it's going to start happening. Pretty much as soon as you land, things will look different, often in ways that are hard to articulate or explain. The climate's going to be different. The language, it's going to be weird to hear everyone speaking in English at first. It might be exhausting. Interactions with people, you know, differences in eye contact, personal space, things like food. Even restaurants that serve your country's food might be a little bit different. It might be the Americanized version. You might take up cooking while you live here. Rules and processes. Be forgiving of yourself, because some norms will be difficult to understand at first. You're going to get some strange looks, but just know that it's all part of the process, and you're going through it together, and it's normal, and it's human, and it's okay, and you're going to be just fine. And we'll talk a lot more about this at orientation. So making the adjustment, here are some steps that you can take once you arrive to help you make the adjustment. Right away, start creating new support systems. So find new friends, and they'll be your family away from home. Befriend other international students. Befriend, you know, domestic students. You're all in a new environment together, and you're all kind of in the same situation and can help each other out. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. Set up some times to Skype with your family and friends back home and stay connected and stay true to what you love back home. But don't be afraid to get involved in what's going on in Atlanta and at Emory. So get involved in student organizations, get involved in fun activities, get some R&R, so rest and relaxation. Be kind to yourself, give yourself some time to adjust, and remember that everything's new, transitions take time. Experience popular culture. You know, what do Americans watch and listen to and do? That could help you understand your new environment a bit. See Atlanta, explore your new environment. There's a lot to do around here. And most importantly, be patient with yourself and be patient with other people.
Yeah, I can't emphasize how being patient is important, because while you're in a new country, new culture, language, food, everything's new for you. I feel what really keeps you going is meeting people from your own country. I think that, at least to start with in this new environment, is a good beginning. It makes you feel at home.
Great.
People here are really friendly. Don't be shy to say how are you to everyone.
And then if you don't feel incredibly confident about your English language skills, here are a few ways that you can improve. You can participate in the Global Peer Network, which will pair international students with a domestic student buddy. There are conversation practice sessions, there are writing workshops, there's a writing center where we've got tutors, that's a free service to you. Read books, magazines, and newspapers in English. Of course, your classes will be in English, so you'll kind of have an English overload as well. Maybe while you're back home, start watching some American or English TV shows, movies, videos, radio stations, make TED Talks, NPR, things like that. And once you arrive, make friends with people from around the world. You know, both locals to show you around Atlanta and international people who might be able to relate well to what you're experiencing as you arrive. A lot of classes also, you should know, are recorded when you arrive, so you can go back and revisit some of those if you feel like you missed something in your class. Anything to add about language acquisition? There's an ESL class in the fall which you'll be taking with me if you, depending on your country of origin, your educational background, your IELTS or TOEFL scores. Probably about 60, 65 of you will be taking classes with me. And another thing to start thinking about as early as now is your career development. So obtaining work and volunteer experience is going to be important during your time at Rollins. So go ahead and start keeping that in mind. Research potential employers, learn about the research that faculty are doing, and a new opportunity this year is for our incoming students to take on leadership roles in a new organization that's just being chartered this fall. It's going to be the Rollins International Student Association, and this group is being developed for a variety of reasons, one of which is to give students the opportunity to get leadership experience that is so much valued when it comes to professional opportunities, especially in the U.S. So don't be shy about that. Learn more from the students who are involved with this association about how you can join and what leadership roles you can take on. It should benefit you greatly in your practicum search later on.
I wanted to add that be active as much as you can and participate in leadership roles or just as a member in these organizations, because Rollins here has such a diverse culture and people have tremendous experience. So you get to learn a lot from them. So go ahead, don't be shy, do it.
Yes. Yes, always keep your eyes open for opportunities to develop or volunteer or network or approach faculty.
Right. Another thing I wanted to add is I've spoken to a couple of incoming students as well already, and people are concerned about the pay. So as an international, initially there are chances you may not be paid, but just get involved, gain experience. If not in the first semester, gradually towards the second semester, you will earn. So don't worry really about earning. It'll flow like a breeze, get some experience.
Yes, be thinking about what skills you can gain while you're here that will make you more competitive when you graduate. And another thing to keep in mind is although we are right next door to the CDC, the fact that you're coming to Atlanta doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to work at the CDC. So be sure to keep that in mind and consider other organizations in the field or, across Atlanta. So this is our last slide, and
this reminds me for the CDC. CDC really appreciates the real Rollins earn and learn.
Mm.
So so international students get an opportunity in spring to apply for real, and keep an eye on your emails. As soon as you get the email for real, apply for it. I cannot stress how important real is, because every professor, every job, literally in school, they will ask you if you have a real, and you never know how these jobs get transitioned into full time. So apply for it.
True. Or even if you don't have real, the CDC is able to take on international students as guest researchers. The only thing is that you don't get paid, but you still gain like very valuable experience from working at the CDC or working at a multinational public health organization. And also, this is something that I took on. I was proactive in doing just to like get myself out there and to get to experience Atlanta. I currently volunteer at the High Museum of Art. That's one of the art museums in Atlanta, and it gives you an opportunity to meet people. It gives you an opportunity to walk around the High Museum of Art for free and view all the wonderful art there. But yeah, that's another thing I consider, the guest researcher position at the CDC. Oh, and also bear in mind, the MPH degree is a very versatile degree, so you can do anything because you're getting trained to be a public health professional. It doesn't matter if you're in the health policy and management department, if you're biostatistics. Although biostatistics and epidemiology are receiving highly specialized training, but if once you're getting an MPH, you can do any public health work. So don't think that you need to work at a particular organization because of your department. You can work anywhere as long as you have critical thinking and analytical skills.
Good point. Great point. Yeah.
So we'll open it up to questions now. So feel free, if you haven't typed any in or if you have some, we'll open those up, and I'm going to start reading them aloud and give our students that are here an opportunity to answer them. So first up is a question, if there's a specific schedule for international orientation. And on the admitted student portal, I don't know if the new one is up yet, or if last year's is up, because I know the new one is still being solidified or solid.
Yes. So last year's orientation, which is pretty much identical, is on the site, and it'll be full days. It'll be starting from, I think, 8:30ish to 5 pretty much every day, August 9th through 11th. So be ready to dedicate, all of your time and energy,
mental bandwidth.
Exactly, all of your mental bandwidth to that 3-day event.
Okay, next up is a question about where to stay during when they first arrive if housing is not finalized. Any thoughts on short-term housing that you guys have, or resources?
I mean, I would first ask in the Facebook group if somebody can take you in, like on a couch or something, until your housing is finalized.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. I know there's Villa International that tends to do short-term stays for people from around the world, but that can be a little more pricey. So if you're not wanting to spend, you might post on the Facebook groups.
Or even Airbnb. Those are more affordable options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, next up is asking about how students find roommates, and specifically in Indian female roommates. Shreya, you got any of that? An Indian female in the room?
So I can just say that whether it's male, female, any country specifically, if you're looking for, just post it on Facebook. I know there are a lot of Indian origin, if not Indian citizens in our school. So you can just say that, hi everyone, I'm looking for a room with preferably an Indian female roommate, and I'm sure you'll get help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And is there like an Indian students at Emory Facebook group or something like that?
There is RASA, Rollins Association of Southeast Asian,
right.
But I don't know if they have a Facebook group.
I don't think
they do either.
But it's okay. I mean, you can just post it on 2018, 2017 groups. And 2019, of course. Exactly. And International Students Association as well.
Right.
And I'm sure you will receive responses. Yeah. If not, you're welcome at my place.
What can I do to start to apply for a driver's license after I arrive in Atlanta? Probably just go to the
DMV.
yeah, the DMV, which is the Department of Motor Vehicles. If you Google that, like Atlanta DMV or Fulton County DMV, I'm not too sure which one you would need to do. I guess it would depend on if you live in Fulton County or DeKalb County. And that's the two counties that we kind of border or straddle here. I think parts of Emory are in Fulton and parts of Emory are in DeKalb County. We're literally right on the border. So you would just, once you know your address, you would really then just go from there.
And also Google all the documents that you need, because they are really specific on what they're looking for. You don't want to go to them, wait for an hour or so in the queue, and when your turn comes, you find out that you don't have documents. So make sure you check it and ask a friend to check it as well.
But first off, you need to find a place to live, because you need to prove your residency.
Right.
Yeah,
So
you have
find
to
a place, get some meal delivered to you.
Yeah, you'll have to have like a electric bill or a water bill, something.
Bank statements.
Yeah, something that indicates that your set address and that you are settled.
Right. So there might be a slight delay in the process.
Yeah, so you won't be getting one right off the bat by
Right.
any means.
Yeah.
And EMORY has quite a good website about getting a driver's license here in Georgia.
ISSS?
Yeah.
Yeah, for international students, what you have to do and how much are the costs, and if you like, just do it.
Yeah. So Emory's, we're saying ISSS, which is the International Students and Scholars Services,
Yeah.
Student Services. So you can look that up, and there's tons of resources of like coming to America, getting settled, steps you need to take, and it's a lot of things that are kind of aggregated there together. Next question is, it's been almost 1 month and my visa application is still under administrative processing. Can I register in the spring semester if it took too long and international orientation has passed? So we only have fall admissions. You could speak with your academic advisor to see if any type of exception can be made since you were admitted and maybe you just wouldn't start until the spring. You would just want to talk to your department advisor about that, because it could be based on course sequencing and when you would need to start certain classes and when classes would be offered. So just really reach out to keep your academic advisor in the loop about what's going on with your visa, and they'll be the best one to kind of figure that out for you. Anyone else?
I might also talk with Barbara Manning, who works with I-20s and visas, and also ask ISSS, try to get that situation sorted as soon as you can, so that hopefully we can get you here in the fall.
Yeah, I know the ISSS is quite supportive, and you never know if they can expedite the process.
Yeah, they might be able to do something for you, especially because it's still June. I think we should be able to figure this out. Are there more questions?
And then how to get a social security number?
You need to have a job.
You need to have a job.
You need first to get a job, and with this job offer, you then can get a social security number. If you don't have a social security number, you can get another number. I forgot.
It's called the SSA. So the social security number is the SSN, but if you don't have an SSN, you can get an SSA through which you can get a driver's license. It's a complicated process.
You probably talked to ISSS about that, right?
Or your internationals who've gone through it.
Right. So anything that is visa and immigration related, go to ISSS first for those questions as they come up for you in the future.
And don't forget that ISSS has like an online portal where you have to type in like all your information. Don't forget to do that. That's just that they know how is your visa application going, is everything in check, do you have all your documents, and you will then also, when you're like traveling, you have to type it in, I think, so that they always know what's up with you.
That's a great suggestion.
So next up is there a salary for RA positions in Rollins? So for like research assistants, teaching assistants, anything like that?
You generally pay $12 an hour, but I also know that from my experience, I remember one of the summers I was paid $10 an hour because there wasn't much funding, but anything, yeah, so that should answer your question.
Excuse me.
And I think it depends on whether you are a PhD or a master student. For a master student, it's really difficult to get an RA position for the first semester, I think. Yeah, but for a PhD, it's much more easier.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you've taken a class or been here for a little while, it makes it a little bit easier to get hired for those. Next up is I want to take some courses in other departments in RSPH, but it needs instructor position. However, the professor didn't reply to my email. What can I do? Well, a lot of our professors are gone over the summer doing research or maybe out of the country, so you can send a follow-up email. Feel free to do that. You could also reach out to your academic advisor, whoever your department advisor is. They may be able to reach out directly to the professor, or they may be able to make that override.
Right. And our academic advisors at Rollins are called ADAPs, A-D-A-P.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for your academic advisor, if you don't know who that is, type in, RSPH ADAP, and you should see a list of all of those people pop up, and depending on your department, you'll be able to identify who your advisor is. And their emails are there too.
And I was just saying that you'll hear a lot of abbreviations, so
Yes.
keep your ears open.
Right. Yeah, don't feel like you have to understand everything right now. You'll learn eventually.
And that appears to be it for the questions for right now. We'll leave it open for just a couple more minutes as we go around and maybe have each one of our students that are here give like a parting word of advice or something along those lines. Just maybe something you wish you knew before coming.
A year ago now, what were you doing and thinking about, and what do you wish you would have known?
I wanted to add that for your previous, you said to follow up. I feel it's really important to follow up with professors and anyone because people are super busy in their daily routines and they miss emails, so don't hesitate in following up. Even if you took to do twice or thrice, maybe once every week, but it'll be worthwhile in the end.
Yeah.
I would say just keep a very open mind and be very proactive in your graduate studies here at Rollins. Yes, you're here to gain experience. You're here to gain academic training in your chosen field, but then you should also think of other ways to develop yourself. So like definitely socially, like hanging out with people, networking, network. I really can't stress the importance of networking because you can be great and have all the credentials and all the qualifications, but if you don't know the right people, and you don't even need to know them for them to give you a job. You just need to know them so that they can guide you and mentor you and lead you in the right direction. So I think I would start, if I were you, if I was now coming into Rollins, I would start networking, reaching out to people, saying, and you can even start by saying, can I just get 20 minutes of your time to just sit down and chat about your background and hear what you did and how you got to where you were. That would be very helpful.
There will be a lot of events during lunch hour and in the evenings, and a lot of them will be from the career services. So often it's recommended or mandatory to dress business casual. So I would recommend to pack a few nice clothes that you don't have to wear the same thing 1 week, because there's every day something with business casual, just for women nice dresses, and for men different shirts or different ties. And be prepared that a lot of things won't go that smoothly at the beginning, I would say. A lot of things will be different. A lot of things you think it's very logically is here very differently. And just ask in the Facebook groups if for help or how people did it here. Yeah, and get a phone number as soon as, like an US phone number, I would say as soon as you can, because if you want to get, I don't know, order something, or often you need like a phone number and US phone number too. So
I want to say that you're in this country for a limited time and you're here to make a better life. So make the most of your time that you're here. Do your best.
I just want to add one more suggestion for bio students, since for it's more difficult when you add class, because for the department, the professors are very nice to recording. But for bio students, from my perspective, I think only one class, I think is BIOS 530. It's a SAS class. George and Paul have recording, but other professors no recording. So you have to understand what your professors say during the classes. Yeah. Yeah, it's really tough for me at the beginning.
Do you have any suggestions about how to overcome that? Do you talk to your professors? Do you ask for the PowerPoint slides?
Yeah, I think it just to get along with it. It will be really good at the second semester. Bios professors really like handwriting, so you need to do some writings as well as you listen to them. Yeah.
I just remembered, check your banking at home. Like if you pay here with a credit card or with your bank card, how much it costs. Maybe there are like cheaper alternatives too. And keep in mind, US bank accounts, they charge nearly for everything. So if you transfer money from an outside account to your bank account, you will pay for it, that you like get money here. So keep in mind, and then also think about how you will pay your tuition, because EMORY doesn't accept, for example, credit cards or something. Yeah.
Okay, final parting words from me. I just want to start by saying that it takes a certain kind of person to leave their comfort zone and travel thousands of miles to come to go to a foreign land to to receive an education. So my final parting words would be never lose focus. There'll be times when you will miss your family, you miss your friends, and it'll be during the holidays when everyone's like driving off or flying away like to nearby states, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and you'd be the only one there because your family's like 5,000 or 6,000 miles away. But always remember, you're here for a reason, and it's to get the education so you can go back to your countries and improve it. So my final parting words would be never to lose focus.
That's really good advice.
Yeah, I love that.
So we had a couple of extra questions come up, and we've got a little bit of time, so I want to try to get through these if we can. Should I start registering for classes before I get a response on my visa? Yes. Yeah, go ahead and get that, because then if something works out, and if something doesn't work out, it'd be best to then those spots be open versus you not get any classes if your visa does work out.
Yes, go ahead and
register for sure. Next up is, do I need the REAL program to work on campus? And also, as an international student, can I be employed at a different university like Georgia Tech if I get the job? So I know for at least Emory, you don't have to be REAL to work on campus. I am not sure about the other campus part.
No, so you have to get a CPT, Curriculum Practical Training, if you want to work outside of Emory. And REAL is just a special program where your employer has to pay less for you. So that does not have any correlation.
And you're still considered an Emory employee with REAL because you work for Emory, and then the employer that you work for bills Emory, or Emory bills the employer. So you're getting as a REAL student, even if you're working at a Department of Public Health, you're getting your paycheck from Emory. So that's how we manage that.
I wanted to add something on the answer to the previous question about registration to classes. I want to say that choose your classes really consciously, because you may not get this opportunity to take them again next year because how they're designed. Get in touch with people, as Nana said, for lunch dates or lunch meetings, whatever, and figure out if you really want to do it, and then decide.
Yeah. And then got two more. So can we take a recorder to class?
Yeah.
Because
I think so.
I think as long as you
talk with the
The professor.
professor.
let the professor know.
I've just
Professor
had
really
one
nice.
class where the professor wasn't comfortable with that, but there was a reason for that. He
Oh.
provided everything else, so he
Okay.
just wanted to encourage like very candid conversation.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And then last one, when can we start applying for non-real jobs? So incoming students will get access to the to our job service, which is called Handshake or ROL, Rollins Online Opportunity Link. Thank you. I should know those things. I feel like we have a ton of different names, but you'll get access to that portal. Usually very beginning of August. It's usually about 3 weeks before classes start. And so you'll be able to start applying for those positions then. If you see that there's not a lot of non-real opportunities up in the beginning, don't freak out. That's pretty common. Most of our students do not secure a position, whether it's real or non-real, until they're here on campus. You know, you'll hear of some people that get something, you know, within a week, but that is unusual. Most students are securing those positions once they're here. They've made some they've made some network connections, they've met a professor. That's really when those connections are coming together.
Also to this, I want to add that don't get disheartened when your domestic peers get jobs and they're boasting about their 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and you don't have even one. It's okay. Be patient.
Yes.
It'll all be fine.
Never lose focus.
Yes. Okay, so
That's right.
I think
Great.
you all should have Hannah's contact information, so feel free to reach out as
Can I add
needed.
another thing?
Oh,
Yes.
Shreya's still got more to say.
Because the last question had about getting non-real jobs. So get in touch with professors right away, see what your interests are, and if they match up with your interests with them, they have their resumes up on Rollins Academic if you go to one of the tabs. Just explore the website and you can get in touch with them and see if you can find opportunity just to even volunteer with them.
Great suggestion. Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you on August 9th.
Yeah, we'll see you then. Thanks,
See you then.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.